Hi, my name's Xtine. I'm a food writer, and today I'm going to be making the New York Times recipe for loaded sweet potatoes with black beans and cheddar. And here's the thing, I kept seeing this recipe on the New York Times cooking website, and I kept, hovering over it, thinking about it. It does sound good, but it also seemed so simple, I kind of couldn't believe they wrote it down as a recipe. It seems like something somebody made when they had the munchies and they just happened to write it down. It's sort of like barely a recipe. All in all, it seemed too simple to film for a cooking video, let alone be published on the New York Times website. But then I saw that it was one of the most popular recipes of this week. And I said, you know what, twist my arm, we're making it. First, I'm preheating the oven to 425 degrees and lining a little baking sheet with parchment paper. Now I'm going to grab my sweet potatoes. I've already given these a little bath and a little scrub, and I'm going to cut them in half lengthwise. I'm going to coat these sweet potatoes in olive oil. I've got this fun little spray bottle, and then the recipe says to brush all over, but I'm just gonna use my hands. Who doesn't love just rubbing down a potato? We just want to make sure they're evenly coated in olive oil, that's it. And now I'm going to salt both sides. Okay, and the recipe says to stop here and put these in the oven, but I'm going to season with a little chili powder as well. And doesn't that just look a little more exciting? I'm placing these face down on the baking sheet, and we're going to roast for 30 to 40 minutes, or until they're soft. Okay, I just licked my thumb because I thought there was just olive oil on it because I was just touching the cutting board. But apparently it was not olive oil. Somehow it was more hot pepper juice from the scorpion pepper that I cut up a couple days ago. I made chili with a really, really hot pepper, and I feel like I just got hot pepper juice on my tongue and my lip. Anyway, while the sweet potatoes are in the oven, I'm going to shred up the cheddar cheese that we're going to be using. The recipe calls for a cup of cheddar cheese, but this is the kind of thing where you don't need to measure out a cup of cheddar cheese, just use the amount of cheese that feels right to you. This is why this recipe feels a little silly, but here I am. So who's the silly one now? Also, while the sweet potatoes are in the oven, we're going to rinse and drain this can of black beans. It's been 35 minutes. I'm going to give these a quick poke to make sure they're soft. I'm going to flip these over. And now I'm going to rough them up a little bit and flatten them out. And now I'm just covering them with a layer of cheese, and then black beans, and then more cheese. Now that our sweet potatoes are all dressed up, I'm going to put them back in the oven for another 5-ish minutes so that the cheese on top of the beans can get all nice and melty. And then we're gonna be ready to eat. It's that easy. I will say I feel like this makes for a perfect little easy side dish that you can just tack onto a meal without much thought. Low effort, high reward, hopefully. Ooh! Look at those. Oh, baby, baby. Okay, this is wild, you guys. I've given this recipe a lot of grief today for being too simple, but if I'm being honest, this is sort of my perfect meal. Perfectly cooked sweet potato. Definitely make this. It's amazing. It's everything and more. What did we learn today? Simple isn't bad. Simple's just simple. But sometimes, simple can be delicious. Maybe I'll just have a very plump plump lip in this shot because it's really burning. So DIY lip fillers. Like, whoops.